What's up, folks, and welcome back to Dyce Reacts, where we are staying in Australia tonight. We are going to be checking out the SASR in the Vietnam War, Australia's forgotten war. Don't think I've ever heard about that. Very much side checks one out. We ain't going to waste no more time. Just going to get right into it, folks. We're going to get right into it. Oh yeah.
To many people, the Vietnam War was a conflict between the United States fighting on the side of South Vietnam and the Viet Cong fighting alongside the Army of North Vietnam. However, many other countries were keen to stop the spread of communism in Southeast Asia, and one of these countries keen to fight were Australia and their elite Special Air Service Regiment. Australia's involvement in the Vietnam War started in 1962, with them sending 30 military advisors who formed the Australian Army Training Team Vietnam, who used their skills and knowledge of jungle warfare gained in the Malayan Emergency to train the Army of the Republic of Vietnam, the ground forces of South Vietnam. Over the years, the number of Australian advisors in Vietnam grew, peaking at 227 in 1970. In addition to advising the South Vietnam Army, in April 1965, Robert Menzies, the Australian Prime Minister, announced that Australia would be providing an infantry battalion for service in Vietnam, and in May, the 1st Battalion of the Royal Australian Regiment departed from Australia and fought alongside the US Army. However, the differences in the way the two countries would operate made both sides agree to allow Australia to fight independently in Vietnam. This led to the formation of the 1st Australian Task Force in April 1966, which included a detachment from the SASR. This task force was based in the Phuoc Toi province at a base called New Dat. The mission of the SASR was to conduct long-range reconnaissance patrols in order to provide intelligence for the 1st Australian Task Force. Squadrons of the SASR rotated through Vietnam on year-long deployments, with each of the 3 Sabre squadrons completing 2 tours before the last squadron was withdrawn in 1971. Furthermore, from late 1968, soldiers from the New Zealand SAS were attached to each squadron of the SASR. They would operate on 24-hour-long missions in the areas surrounding friendly bases. These missions included medium-range reconnaissance patrols, observation of enemy troop movements, and long-range offensive operations and ambushing in enemy-dominated territory. Throughout the war, their role went from reconnaissance to an offensive fighting force with the 1st Australian Task Force commander from October 1967 to October 1968. Brig Hughes explaining that the kill rate achieved by the SAS was very gratifying. I did not view the SAS as an intelligence gathering organisation, rather as a reaction force to intelligence gathered by other means. They would operate in small groups of between 4 and 6 men and move slowly through the jungle very heavily armed in order to appear as a bigger force to any enemy they had contact with. Their primary method of deployment was by helicopter. However, they were occasionally deployed using the M113 APC, and one parachute drop was also carried out. Due to their slow-moving and stealthy nature, a regiment of the Viet Cong referred to the SASR as Phantoms of the Jungle, and it had been reported that the Viet Cong placed a bounty of $5,000 on each SASR soldier either captured or killed. By the time the SASR left Vietnam in 1971, during the withdrawal of all Australian forces in Vietnam, they had completed almost 1,200 patrols, with 492 confirmed kills and 11 prisoners captured, and on the other side only 1 SASR operator was killed in action. 1 died from his wounds, 1 died from illness, and 28 were wounded. Whilst their overall contribution to the Vietnam War is overlooked, it is clear that the SASR were very successful in succeeding in their missions with minimal casualties, making them one of the most feared regiments in the whole war.
Wow, guys, this is shocking to me. I may not look shocked, but I'm shocked because I've never heard Australia played any part of in the Vietnam War. That's the first time I'm hearing that. I've never heard Australia mentioned in any sentence. Any type of documentary I've seen growing up, I've never heard Australia I never heard them mention Australia. this is a country that has never been mentioned. And I'm wondering how many countries played a part in the Vietnam War. How many countries? Because from America, from the way I'm seeing it, it's usually what you see talked of is America in the Vietnam War. I mean, those that's the main country that you hear. You don't really hear any other countries being mentioned, or any other countries that played any role, whether it was a small role or not. I've never heard it until now, and it's shocking. And I'm gonna go do my own little research because I love history, and it's just now I've not done a lot of research on war history, and that's why I love doing those reactions. I usually do a lot of research in terms of the old civilizations, like the Mayans and all those type of information. But war is something that I don't like at all. So it's something that I was not really, it was not really on my radar up until now, because there's a lot of missing pieces that I wouldn't even call it missing pieces. This information that I haven't really heard at all, because it's not like I'm trying to connect any dots. I'm just speaking in general terms. So this is very interesting that Australia had a role to play in this war. I'm gonna have to ask someone who maybe knows a little more about this than I do. In my country, there's someone that comes to mind. Let me hear if he heard that before or not, or am I living under a rock of some sort? But I'm telling y'all, that's the first time I'm hearing that, and it's a really eye opener. After this video is done, I'm gonna do a little just rough Google search to see what more information I can get on that. But hey, if you guys got any article I could read, you could send me the link. Any information, you can put it down in the comment section. I'm going to take a look at it, read it. I'll appreciate that a lot. Rest in peace to all the soldiers who fought in this battle. Rest in peace. If you want to see that long shot outro that I do, hit me up on Dyce Reacts where I do music reactions. This way I'm going to be making my exit. So until next time, peace out.